Mark Gurman thinks that he has a handle on the launch date or the release date for iPadOS 16. He's saying that that is going to happen the week of October 24th, so coming up here in just a little bit, and that would time it just ahead of Apple's fourth quarter 2022 earnings call, which is happening on October 27th. So the assumption is that the OS release would be in line with the potential announcement of new Apple products, and that would include the new updated 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros, possible updated Mac Minis, new iPads in the form of iPad Pros, and a new entry-level iPad, and then maybe possibly also a new Apple TV. We've been talking about all those things, so if you want to know more about those, go back and listen to previous episodes of the Maccast. We've been getting into a lot of the details, but basically M2 updates to a lot of the Macs, M2 updates to the Mac, to the iPad Pros, and that sort of thing, and a nice little update to the Apple TV. All that is expected to be announced, but with that date looming, October 24th, and no invites being sent out yet, and the earnings call being potentially in the same week, which would be a little bit unusual for Apple to do an earnings call and an Apple event, it's looking more and more like the possibility of an actual event is going away. And this was something that was being rumored about. And I think we discussed on previous episodes of the Maccast that a lot of analysts, I think including Mark Gurman, had said Apple could roll out these new products just with a press release. And they may even do it over a couple of weeks. So they might not even come out all at the same time. I think we're thinking the iPads may be the first thing. As a matter of fact, Gurman said we could see the iPad sooner than the new Macs. Gurman noted that the new M2 iPad Pro would be coming very soon, along with the introduction of that updated entry-level iPad, and noted that the updated 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros with the M2 Pro and M2 Max chips could be introduced at a later date. So we might get the iPads along with the release of iPadOS 16, and then Macs would follow behind that. We also might get a later announcement if we get a later release of the MacBook Pros of that new M2 Mac Mini update. And then there's still the potential that we could get an M2 Pro version of the Mac Mini, sort of a Pro Mac Mini that a lot of people had been hoping for. But that could happen maybe in the November timeframe. I would think Apple would want to get all these announcements out before the holiday season, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. And then one thing I'm really looking forward to would be an updated Apple TV, and I hope that happens before the end of the year as well. There was another product that Gurman had been alluding to a while back, and I think we talked about this whole idea of merging an Apple TV, an iPad, and a HomePod into sort of a home hub, a home entertainment system hub, or just a centralized location for all of your media. Now he's back saying that Apple may be planning a new iPad docking accessory that would basically become that. You kind of have a HomePod, maybe, although I don't think they said this in the announcement, an Apple TV thing kind of rolled into a base station that you could leave in your living room. And then when you came home, you could take your iPad and dock that into that, and that would become kind of this home accessory with, video conferencing with FaceTime and all of your audio system, and you could control your home setup and your home kit and everything kind of all in one in this centralized docking station. Yet it would still be versatile enough that when you wanted to, you could just undock your iPad and you have that as a separate device. So I find that kind of product pretty interesting, and it could be something that Apple could be planning on doing. Again, it's looking like that may be something they plan on introducing or releasing next year. Again, it's kind of a in development product, so who knows if they actually will ever bring anything out like that. But I thought it was interesting nonetheless, and I'd be curious to know what you think about that.